But first tonight, talking of Australia, two of our big cities, Sydney and Melbourne, have cracked the top 10 of livable places around the world. Melbourne sits at number 3 and Sydney at number 4. Now, these lists, in my view, are an absolute joke. They're done by something called the Economist Intelligence Unit, whatever that might be. It's aligned with a finance paper. And as far as I can work out, it's used by big companies when deciding where to locate executives from global companies if they've got operations in Australia. Now, predictably, Melbourne's dialer quote Lord Mayor, Sally Capp, who's overseen the destruction of the CBD of this once great city, well, she knocked half a dozen people over in the rush to get on camera on Seven's Sunrise show today. Have a look.
We are showing the world how good we are at bounce backs. Of course, we never want to be in the depths of a crisis like the pandemic again. But wow, how about the resilience and ingenuity and hard work of Melburnians? We really are thrilled. There's a great sense of excitement, pride and satisfaction this morning.
What an embarrassment she is, and what a joke these lists are. One aspect was climate, where the Economist Intelligence Unit rated Melbourne more highly than Sydney. Their reason, apparently, humidity. So while Lord Mayor Capp was chatting to Sunrise, the temperature in Melbourne was this morning 3 degrees. 3. It's around 10 degrees now and raining. Now, weather isn't everything, I know, but as someone who has lived for lengthy stints in 3 capital cities, Adelaide, Sydney and Melbourne, at this time of the year, Sydney wins hands down. The weather there is perfect at the moment. You can go and swim at the beach. Adelaide is where I was born, and if I was younger with school-aged children, I tell you what, I'd choose Adelaide over the other two in a heartbeat because the cost of living is lower, the lifestyle is better. There's not one toll road in the entire city of Adelaide. They've got cheaper housing, they've got a great food and wine offering, and ask any performer, the best art scene in Australia is in Adelaide. But let's forget The Economist and their dodgy rankings for a second and have a look at Melbourne in 2023. Just today, commuters learned that half of the suburban rail network, half of it, will be replaced by buses for the next 2 weeks for an upgrade work, causing commuter chaos. This month's state budget from the debt-ridden Daniel Andrews government slapped payroll tax increases on business that has so spooked people, they're looking for the exit sign to get out of the state of Victoria. Add to that land tax increases on investment properties that have fuelled a rash of sales, and investors are now looking north to Queensland instead to park their money. The CBD of Melbourne, and I've written a lot about this in the Herald Sun, is a shambles compared with Sydney. Sally Capp's council used the COVID shutdowns to blanket the CBD with little used and highly disruptive bike lanes. There's plans for a permanent drug injecting room on Flinders Street, but the protests have been so loud, it now looks like instead there'll be mobile heroin and ice injecting vans doing laps of city blocks. Buildings are covered in graffiti that never gets removed, and the two main train stations, Southern Cross and Flinders Street Station, are cold, empty shells populated by the homeless. Now, by choice, I live on the far fringes of Melbourne, and when I write the above in newspaper columns, I'm swamped with Melburnians agreeing with me. So for Sally Capp to idiotically claim, "We are back, baby," is an absolute embarrassment. Luckily, later on the program, we have as part of one of our panels tonight a respected and sensible Melbourne City Councillor, Roshina Campbell. She might think I'm being too harsh. We're about to find out. But the Economist list, forget it, it's a joke.